So I added the feet, kind of like little triangles. I slipped and I scored, I blended, so I wanted to show you that. Little details like this, the more you can find ways to blend them and attach them, the more they'll have a better chance of staying on there. So just wanted to show you how you can use the little tools while it's still a little bit wet, where I can kind of join them together. So I won't separate. If I wanted to add a little more dimension, I can put a tiny little coil over top so it looks like the fabric is overlapping the end of the shoes. So I could take a little coil, roll it out. And sometimes if it's the same consistency, like I'm still working on it the same day, I feel like I can just score it just a little bit, or just use some of the slip and put it on there. Thinking of just realized I think I put his feet on crooked. They should have been like more over here, like further over there. So if you make a mistake and you need to remove something, I hate when I have to do that, but if necessary, instead of ripping it off, cut it off, because then I can still use that shoe. I'm just going to be moving it over a little bit. So yeah, this is the center. His foot should be more over here. So I'll fix that and then add a coil over top for the fabric. So just wanted to share how I added a little tiny coil to make it look like the fabric is overlapping his shoes. So I slipped and scored and applied the coil, and I'm blending it underneath and then trying to blend it in on the top. And that's how you get those little sculpture details. It does definitely take some patience. Just know that when this, you know, later on, if you feel like you can't completely blend everything, it's okay. When it gets to be leather hard, that's another time that you can kind of sculpt it and smooth it out and close the pores of the clay on the outside by blending it. Right now it's a little too wet for that, so just be aware that there's always like a refining stage. So if it's not perfect, it's okay. You'll get to kind of work with those details a little bit later and smooth them out. So just wanted to share that, what I was doing here and how I did it. So just kind of smoothing that out and using some of the little tools to help get in those little areas that my fingers are too big for. There we go. And when I store this, I'll probably take a paper towel, wet it, and kind of drape it over to keep the moisture inside, and then put a plastic bag over top to protect it. Because I don't mind it drying out a little bit, I just don't want it to dry out too much since I'm still adding to it. There we go. And he's got his little feet there. All right, coming together. So the head that I made, I'm actually carving out just a little hole at the top so that when I put the hat on top, there's still kind of a hole that goes from the head to the hat. So remember we talked about trapped air. So I just have to make sure all those places where there could be trapped air, that there's a way for the air to escape when it's in the kiln. So I'm going to attach this, slip and score. It's been sitting out a little bit, so it's getting dry. Which is okay, I want it just a little bit dry. Put the hat on there. Apply a little bit of pressure. I don't feel like I have to blend it in completely because I'm going to put a rim of the hat on there, but just to keep it from popping off. And then on the inside, I can smooth all that out. That way they're connected. So just kind of cleaning that out, smoothing it in. Okay. Now I'm going to put a coil around it for the brim of the hat. So I was getting a little carried away with the face, but I added a little slab for the beard and attached that. Started pressing in where the eyes are going to be, indenting, and then I started adding a little bit of clay for the nose. So this will come together. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I think I'm going to add to the chin. So any areas that dip in, you want to put that. And this is a good time to do it because the clay is really wet. When it's really wet, it'll stick really good. And slipping and scoring these tiny little details, a lot of times you don't have to if you're using quite a bit of water. So the chin here, which is actually kind of going into the beard, but oh well. Versus the side of the head, I think it'll work. Scalp, because old man. Meh. All right, this chin comes out. So I just add clay where areas come out and push areas in. A lot of times there's like the cheekbones, the chin. Got the nose. It's pointy. I'm like, it kind of looks like a chicken. I don't want that. I could add a little bit to the cheekbones here. Just to get the overall structure of the face. A little bit cheek. Oh, it's wet. And I like to put little tiny coil over the brow. Get those angry eyebrows, or serious eyebrows. A little too big, too wet. There we go. Stick some eyebrows. Definitely have to shape those a little bit. Okay, so just wanted to kind of share that with you on the face. The fact that we're working with wizards and goblins, I like that it's okay to be a little rough as far as the little details. And then I'm going to add a little tiny ball for the eyes. Like I said, I do this all together so that it'll stick pretty good. Put that lid over top. Tiny little ball for the eyes. going to. There we go. All right. Probably add some little bags or creases under his eyes, make him look older. Bring out the cheekbones a little bit. You can kind of work with that a little bit later.